Sometimes the moment that triggers you the most is actually the moment revealing where you still abandon yourself. And sometimes the real awakening isn't realizing someone hurt you. It's realizing how quickly you stopped choosing yourself the moment they did. Hmm. Welcome to the cup of awakening, your small, powerful sips of truth, the kind that shifts everything in real time. So grab your cafecito with me and let's slow this moment down. Mm. Okay, so this morning, okay, maybe not this morning, but it was this week. I had my headphones in, like I find myself a lot lately. And um, I couldn't hear anybody. I couldn't hear anybody talking to me. It was that simple. I had my headphones in and I couldn't hear. And so instead of tapping me on my shoulder, instead of saying, "Hey, babe, can I talk to you for a minute?" They immediately shifted into like blaming and saying, "You're arrogant, you don't care, you're ignoring me. There you go. You don't care. There's my evidence." Has that happened to you before? Say yes, yes. And instantly, I could feel it already in my body. My nervous system started to activate, like, oh my gosh, no, I don't feel safe here. I need to like defend myself. I need to like, it's not true. Does that sound like you? Does that happen to you? Where you like, maybe you feel the heat, maybe you feel the shortness of breath, maybe you feel your heart pounding outside of you, maybe you feel your throat really get tight, like there's something like a big clump there, tightness. Maybe your stomach gets nervous, or you get anxious, or you feel like you want to run away, like literally run away. That's me. Have you been there before? Ever in your life? Yes, I get it. Nothing to be ashamed of. Happens to all of us, I think. Someone is going to say something, and then suddenly your whole body is going to tighten up. Your you know, your energy is going to contract in, and all of this is going to happen before your mind can even catch up to what's happening. You feel it, right? That pressure and that urge to want to defend yourself and to explain, to prove, like, oh my gosh, no, that's not even the truth. That's not my truth. And then correct them for they're misunderstanding you. And then you find yourself escalating, elevating your voice, becoming passionate about it because you get in a loop. And then it feels like they're switch it's then it becomes something else and you're defending that. And it feels like a never-ending loop of trying to get understood and correct and explain and defend. I don't know about you, but I am tired of that crazy loop. Are you there? Are you? Because that, like, I realized I was making the same decisions over and over again, hoping for different results. Like, yes, I was insane. That's insanity. And I realized in that moment, I was like, nope, I can't keep reacting this way. And I was no longer reacting to that anymore, to the story, the meaning that I attached to it because of the story that I grew up, the conditioning, the old story that says that I'm the problem, that I'm selfish, that I'm too much, I'm not enough at the same time, I'm too loud, I'm too opinionated. Oh, you think you know everything. You're too sexy. You're too cool, too generous. You're too friendly. Yeah, but don't talk about your feelings because keep that to yourself. Nobody wants to hear that one, Margarita. And so I learned how to survive, how to be a yes when my whole body was like, no, girlfriend, no. Just notice the relationships and the places you spend your time. Are they depleting your energy or are they feeding you love, joy? Like you feel better, you feel more expanded, seen, held, nourished, or depleted and deflated and feeling less than. Because you have a choice. You have a choice. You have a choice. You don't have to be a yes to the people who do not elevate you in your greatness. And I digress right now, but I feel like somebody needed to hear that. Somebody needed to hear that out there right now. Because we need to start listening to what our body is repeatedly telling us. What it's thinking, what you're feeling, what your intentions are. And then if you don't have curiosity and you're not asking questions or trying to understand, then your body is always going to be bracing before the conversation even begins. Because the person is trying to be right, pointing fingers, right? Instead of getting curious, trying to understand, coming from a loving place, asking questions, trying to choose a relationship. Because control says, I already know who you are. I already know how you're going to be. I already know what you were thinking. I know what you're capable of. But love says, help me understand. I see you're hurting. What happened today? Are you struggling? Do you need my support? How can I be there for you? Simple, simple. And that's what I'm realizing in real life, in real time. I'm like, listen, if what I'm about to say doesn't have love behind it, add value, I guess if it doesn't come from love, right? If I'm trying to defend or to be right or be proved to prove, you know, then I'm not regulated enough to respond. Being able to responsibly connect and choose the relationship. Because desire is gonna say, run away, you're not safe, attack, 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 detour, detour up ahead. But without repair, resentment starts to creep in. And then when growth and awareness collide, and then growth and awareness collide with story and identity of the past, ego, then it gets chaotic and messy. Mhm. And that's life. And so I'm digressing again, but it's really about not being right. Because I feel like I used to be a control freak. I am a recovering control addict. Anybody out there? Hello? This mic on? Control addict? And addiction's an interesting word. Um, but I think if you look at it, there's many of us addicted to things that might not necessarily be good for us. Coffee, and desire wants to stay safe, to choose the unfamiliar. I mean, sorry, to choose the familiar chaos, the familiar failure, the familiar letdown, the familiar ending, than the unfamiliar. Do you guys remember having those books when you were kids? I think they might still even have some people still make them, and it's pretty cool. I used to always love them. And it was like choose your ending, choose your path. And at the end of the chapter, it would say, if they if they go into the room, go to page 27. If they don't go in the room and instead go down the hall, go to page 72. And then it'll be the same. So you start following different parts of how the story unfolds. And it's pretty interesting. You can read and have like 4, 5 different endings to the one book. My point is, the moment that you have a choice, which is every moment, it's the only thing you have available to you is choice. No one makes you do or say anything. You choose that. And where I used to be was, they made me. Don't you understand? I come from this. It took me this long. I have this much trauma. Don't you understand? Like, this person did this to me, said this to me, treated me this way. I had this experience. I could be right about all that. And honestly, I have been right for so long. I've been right for so long. And that was where I failed myself. That's where I abandoned myself for that false identity, that cloak of safety that I put on to stay safe. Because up until then, I learned I needed to dim my light, quiet my voice, not speak my truth, not be too much, work harder so I can be enough, be smart but don't have an opinion. Tell me what you think, but don't think differently than me. Dance, but don't dance too sexually or sensually or sexy. Yeah, all these, it's so interesting that the movie Barbie that has that scene where she goes off about all the oxymorons. I call them oxymorons of life. Do this but don't do that. Um, but yes, we're overcoming it. That's why devotion is so important, because desire is going to want us to run away and hide and fit in. But the devotion, in order to stand out, to shine, and have your joy spark, and line up with your purpose and your truth of who you are, it takes devotion. It takes devotion of doing it over and over again, having grace, forgiving yourself in the moments that you are human. Because life is going to life and you're never going to change. But the truth is, you have a moment, moment. How long do you want to stay? How long do you want to stay in the poop scoop of life? Because you could stay there as long as you want. You could stay there decades, decades. I was in it for decades, and for decades. So no shame, no judgment here. Just one sister to another saying, "Hey, comment me if that's you." But like now I'm ready. I'm ready to, I don't know, shine a light in the corners of the shadows of my room that have cobwebs. It's like Charlotte's Web up there. It's like reminding me, it has the writings. Shame, not enough, you know? So I get to honor them and I get to look into them without shame, without blame, without criticism, just getting curious and being neutral about it. And I think I say that a lot. And it bears repeating because it's that simple. Oh my God, sisters, it's that simple. And the only way to do it is to have boundaries, to love yourself enough, to listen to your body, to honor your nervous system, to regulate, to do the self-care so that you can have self-love and self-respect and learn not to abandon yourself anymore. Inside the moments that are hard, when it's the easiest to just choose the story because you're tired and you're like, I'm tired. Because I can sit here all day long talking about it, right? The healing, the boundaries, the nervous system, the love, the leadership. But if I'm going to sit here and still abandon myself inside of it in that moment, then I'm just still rehearsing survival. That's humbling. Healing isn't knowing better. Healing is choosing differently when you're activated, when you're triggered, when you feel yourself leaving your body, your sovereignty. That's it. That's the hard part. That's the hard part. Pausing, taking a breath long enough to choose better then. What would love choose in this moment? What would the version of me that I'm becoming choose in this moment? Where in your life do you know the tools? You know the truth. You know you have the awareness, you have the skills, you've read the books, taken the courses, but you still find yourself choosing the familiar pattern because, your nervous system is always going to try to pull you back towards that familiar, even if the familiar is pain, hurt, abandonment, scarcity, fear, blame, defensiveness, over explaining, shutting down, people pleasing. Like which one is your survival pattern? We all have one or two or three. Which one's yours? Share in the comments. Don't leave me alone. Because your survival is gonna say protect yourself. Let's stay protected. PROTECT. Find out what it means to me. But devotion is gonna say stay connected to yourself. Just stay here. Don't go anywhere. Do whatever it takes to stay here. Do not abandon yourself. Whatever you do, just stay here. That's different. That's different. And honestly, I'm still learning that. I'm still not getting it right. But I'm learning to pause. I'm learning to regulate. I'm learning to speak my boundaries. I'm learning to say, listen, I'm happy to have this conversation, but nope, I'm not available for blame shame. I'm not available for that tone, disrespectfulness, this lack of disrespect, or whatever that is. Because my nervous system I already know I can't. I'm already in a place where I'm switching from survival to thrival at thrival. Oh, I like that. Um, so I'm just learning right now to pause, to regulate, to shift faster, to repair myself and recover and regulate. And then remind myself that I don't need to defend my own humanity. I'm going through some changes in my life too. And I spent so much time being a stay-at-home mom. The stigma of the guilt of like, am I even good enough to go back into the world? Like, do you see me? Again, is this mic on? That's my new thing now. I love it. Because, I am allowed to be human. I'm allowed to stumble and fall. I'm allowed to make mistakes, to not get it right, to miss something. It doesn't make me bad. It doesn't make me broken or selfish or unlovable or unworthy. And let me just tell you a secret, ladies. You don't heal by becoming perfect. You heal by becoming conscious enough to choose again and again and again. And this is why I create these episodes in real time, not from a pedestal, but from a mastering space of experience, not performance. Because remembrance is a superpower. Remembering that you have a voice, that you're not your old identity. It does not define you. You're also not your survival responses. You're not the version of you that formed inside of fear, inside of survival. You are the awareness witnessing it. Now that you have the awareness, because in every moment, every trigger, every activation is an opportunity to reclaim your power, your peace, your joy, your truth, your love. Oh my God, your abundance, your relationships, and not perfectly, devotedly. So ask yourself honestly, am I reacting from my truth or from the old story that my nervous system memorized up until now? Come on, put your hand on your heart with me. Take a deep breath in the nose for 4 counts. Hold it at the top for 2 counts. And then release for 8 counts out your mouth slowly. And then ask yourself, what would love choose here in this moment? Not from ego, not from performance, not from having to prove or to explain, but from love, from connection, from compassion, from understanding, from curiosity. Because sometimes the most powerful thing that you can do is to stop defending yourself long enough to stay connected to yourself. And not just to yourself, but to others. And I'm not going to tell you it's all like pink clouds all the time, because no one will evolve. Not everyone, actually, is going to evolve with you. And that truth hurts so much. And it does feel lonely, this path for a while. But, I don't know about you, but I didn't come here to dim my light. so that other people stay comfortable? Did you come here to dim your light so that other people can stay comfortable? No, you came here to remember who you are. You came here to help other people remember too, who they are, their worth, their value, their light. Is that you? Say yes. Say amen. Yes, that's me. I can't see you if you don't raise your hand and use your voice. And leadership is not perfection. It's awareness, it's repair, it's truth, self-responsibility, devotion. And then noticing those moments. Oh, wow, I think I just abandoned myself here in this moment. I think I just kind of didn't speak my truth. Why am I people pleasing? What am I afraid of? Because really in the end, did you really die? Did you really die? You didn't die. But then just noticing, curious, neutral, no judgment, and then say what is a better than choice right now, and then choosing from there, choosing differently from that moment. Because you can stay in that moment 3 seconds or 30 years. That's really what trauma is the emotional earthquakes that we keep reliving in our nervous system every time we think about it and put so much energy on it. When I can just choose different. I know I don't want to dismiss it and make it sound like it's easy because it's not. It's taken me a lot of years to get where I am, and I still sometimes allow myself to cry. I allow myself to have a pity party. But I also tell myself, okay, I felt like this for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, I'm done. Shift, choose joy right now. And I do a joy spark moment. And that's it. That's a better than moment choice in that moment. Like having something in your tool belt that just lifts your joy, brings you back to devotion. Because right now, my devotion is to stay in my joy because it's my superpower and it helps me remember like really who I am, my worth, my value, why I came here. And I'm also here to tell you like it's not about getting it perfect because there is no end result. It's really a journey. There's no destination. And it's not about getting it perfect. You just have to notice. You just have to pause and then choose again. Pause, choose again. Pause, choose again. That's how you rebuild self-trust. That is how you create connection. That's how you come home to you. Because you're not here to react from your past. You are here to choose from your truth today, in this moment, right now. Now is all you have. And every time that you choose differently, every time, even the smallest moments that no one is there to witness or cheer you on or clap, you are remembering who you are. I am your solstice, Margarita Rose, and this was your cup of awakening. Sip it slowly, sisters. And if this expanded your awareness, please subscribe, share, comment, like, and invite a sister to watch it with you so that she remembers she's not alone and that healing is possible for her too. I'll meet you here next time on the same Soul Spark channel. Till next time, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself and others.